What's going on, guys? Pix here, bringing you another squad builder on FIFA 18. In goal, we're going to have JARSTEIN. I don't know how to say his name, but he was okay. I don't know, keepers at this point, when I was using this team, were still pretty dog shit. So he was, I mean, as far as most keepers go at that point, he was okay, but before the patch, that's when I used his team, he was still pretty bad. So I don't really have any saves to show you guys. He was just decent. Like, he was whatever, but he led in some terrible goals. But I believe if I used this team after the patch, he would have been a lot better. So I can't really give too much of a review on him. But the two center backs, we have Abraham and Vogt, I don't know. But he has some crazy in-game stats. Great passing, awesome sprint speed, strength, aggression, nice defending stats. And he was insane. He's definitely one of the best center backs I've used in the game. He's an aerial threat. He can pass the ball out the back. He's just the perfect center back in my opinion. He's pretty much the cheap Mats Hummels. And then Abraham, holy shit, this guy paired with Vogt, they were insane together, both so fast, and they're just incredible. Abraham, he's just fast. His defending felt great in game. He wasn't just fast, but I find that pace on defenders is still very important in this game. No matter which FIFA it is and what people claim is important on defenders, whether you claim defending is actually important this year, it's honestly not as important or not any more important than any other year. It's still pace. Pace is still one of the most important stats, if not the most important stat on a defender this year, still. And the two fullbacks, we have Gomez and Brzezinski. Nice little position change on Brzezinski there, and he honestly surprised me with how solid he was. Like I said, pace. He's fast, so he's good at defending. And then Gomez, he also surprised me. Look at the interceptions, at that cheeky 85 interceptions. Good stamina, good jumping, which is important on fullbacks to get up to those over-the-top through balls. And he's also just completely rapid. He did a great job. I was really surprised with him. And the three center midfielders, we have Battaglia, another returning player there. We have Paulinho, and then we have Rafinha. And I thought Rafinha was great. He's definitely a hidden gem on this game for me. I feel like a lot of focus is on Paulinho for those Brazilian squads or La Liga squads. But Rafinha offers, I think, some expertise in certain areas where Paulinho is just decent in all areas. Rafinha is great with his dribbling. He's great at passing, and he also has a really nice finish on him, which kind of surprised me. But he's just a great, fantastic playmaker. But he's not weak by any sense. He's no pushover, and he also wins some tackles. He's just really well rounded, and he really surprises me in the areas where I thought that he would be okay in. He actually was pretty great in. And one thing that surprised me about him for sure was his shooting. Like, he scored me some really nice goals. The dude has a kind of a rocket on him. He's 82 long shots, and you definitely feel that in game. You can bang them from distance with him, but definitely the selling point of the card is the dribbling, and he offers some fantastic dribbling. He's one of the most consistent cards I've used on this game. He was consistently getting like match ratings over 9.0. Like, he doesn't really make too many mistakes in this game. And then we have Paulinho, who is really good in the middle of the park, gets up and down the pitch, he wins headers, he can get you goals, he can get you assists, he just does a bit of everything. And look at this finish right here. Beautiful. He can also do that for you, and it was in a really important point of the game as well. I honestly just thought Paulinho was good, but when I bought him, pretty overpriced. I think at this point he's maybe 5k or under right now, so I think he's pretty much worth that. He's a very balanced card, although he's not really great in any area. But another nice little goal here, I was getting desperate, so I just ran from my half. He stays on the ball, and bang, he just smashes it in. Pretty good player. Not the best center mid I've used. He's probably, out of the three, was the weakest between Battaglia, him, and Rafinha. I felt that Rafinha and Battaglia had more of an impact on the game than Paulinho did, but there's nothing really bad about him that I can point out. And Battaglia, when I bought him, I think I paid like around 4,000 coins for him. I can't tell you why he was that much. But honestly, I would pay that much for him again. He's insane on this game. Really great all-around defending stats. Like interceptions, stand tackling is all great. He's strong. He's aggressive. His left foot is really, really good. Actually, I don't even know if he's left-footed or right-footed, because he was scoring me goals with both feet. And then look at this goal right here. He just bangs it. I think that was his right foot. And just a beautiful finish right there. He's a great center mid. He gets tackles in. He wins headers. And he has some surprisingly good passing on him as well. And a really powerful shot. And if you pay attention to some of the goals, you'll see some really nice passes that he made for me. And then we get into the front three here. Gelson, Martins, probably the most overpowered front three I think you can use on the game for the price. Maybe the most overpowered front three. Gelson, Martins, and Tyson as the right and left forward. I thought Tyson was good. I expected a little bit more out of him in some areas. I don't know, he was rapid, he had great dribbling, but sometimes the finishing, that end product, was a little bit disappointing. I thought that he would have a really great finish, and he did it in some areas, like right there, beautiful, but he just didn't in other situations, and I realized that his curve is really bad. And I think of all the stats on card, or in his in-game stats, the one that made the biggest difference and let the card down in certain areas was the curve, because it made his finesse shots really useless for the most part. And whenever I did hold on the finesse button, he wouldn't even really finesse it and put any curve on it. He would just shoot it straight, like a power shot. But look at the dribbling there, nice little skill to get past the defender, and then a great little finish. So he can finish with the finesse button, but don't really rely on it so much, cutting in and finessing it. Just power it home, because his curve is terrible. But other than that, his pace is great, dribbling is great, he has a decent finish, he has 4-star skill moves, he has a pretty okay physicality to him, but he also has some nice passing. He's a really, really balanced left forward, and I think he does the job really, really well. And this goal was pretty much all Gelson Martin. Look at the dribbling from him there, and then the cheeky little pass through to Tyson, and a nice little tight finish there. Yeah, he was good. He was really, really good. Got me quite a bit of assists and goals, and I would definitely recommend him for this team. You can use any Brazilian left winger, but I don't really think there's any better option other than Neymar than Tyson. I think Tyson's the best option next to Neymar. And then Gelson Martins, he was probably the star of the team. He is insane on this game. His dribbling, his agility, his composure as well was really good. He also has great stamina and a surprisingly awesome shot on him. Great finish, and he's absolutely rapid. So many of the goals scored on this team were started because of his creativity and his absolutely rapid pace. I loved him. I absolutely loved Gelson Martins. His pace is ridiculous. He is probably the fastest player I've used on this game. He's a complete menace for defenders to deal with. Not to mention he has 5-star skill moves. And I know composure, last FIFA, we weren't really sure what that really meant, because the first year composure is really implemented. But I noticed that composure helps in pretty much every area of the game. Whenever there's a lot of pressure on a player, I notice that composure is a very important stat and can be the difference between a player making a pass in a tight situation, getting past multiple players, muscling off players, being able to finish in any area. I find that composure just affects every aspect of the game when a player is under pressure, and Gelson Martins was a joy to use. So simple to just cut through defenders like butter with this dude. His dribbling's fantastic, and he offers so many options with that 5-star skills now. And his right foot was surprisingly really, really great. I didn't expect him to be such a good finisher in certain areas. Obviously, I don't expect him to be like Soares or Cavani or like a finisher of that type. But all I'm saying is that he did surprise me with what he can do goal scoring wise. Like, look at this finish right there. That was pretty much as far into the bottom corner as you can possibly get it. No keeper is going to be saving that. And one thing I noticed was most effective about this card was shooting cross body. Of course, he's right-footed on the right-hand side. You're going to be shooting cross body with him quite a bit, but it's super effective. He has the outside foot shot trait, so that's what I would definitely be recommending for you guys to do if you're going to be picking up this card and using it. Yeah, just use that outside of the foot shot, and you'll definitely have success with this card, as he does have the trait for it. So yeah, he was an amazing player. Seriously, one of the better players I've used on the entire game. Would definitely recommend him. I overpaid for him when I look back at what I paid for this team, but of course prices have gone down since I bought it, so you can probably pick it up for no more than 15k at this point. And then we have the striker, who is Tiquinho Soares. Looks like one of the most OP strikers on the entire game, with the combination of his pace and his physical. That's very rare to find on strikers, especially for the rating and the price. You don't really find that too often. So yeah, he's definitely a special one, and a great little goal there, build up. I mean, it wasn't all Soares, it was just the positioning, but the build up was great, and I decided to show it because of that. But let's talk about why I think Soares is a great striker. He is one of the better strikers I've used. I mean, at this point in FIFA, when I was using this team, he was maybe like the second or third striker that I had used, and he was the best. At this point, I've used better, but he is definitely up there with one of my favorites. He's definitely not my favorite, but he is up there. Let's talk about some of his stats, his pace. He's just rapid, and when you combine that with the aggression and the strength, it makes him an absolute beast going forward and a menace for defenders to deal with. Like usually you get either the pace or you get the physical, but you get the best of both worlds with this card. Not only that, you do get some pretty good finishing. He has 80 finishing in his in-game stats, which is a great little stat for him to have there. And it makes him very clinical in most areas. Just don't try and finesse it with him. His finesse shots, I mean, inside the box, yeah, sure, finesse it with him. But outside the box, you're not really going to get too much success out of those. So I wouldn't recommend using those. And one thing that surprised me about him was his build-up play. Like the way he links up plays. I definitely didn't expect him to be so good at that. And his first touch was also good, as you see there. He took down that ball really, really nicely, and then a great finish on his weak foot. But obviously his dribbling isn't going to be the greatest, as he is 6'2". He's not so agile, but he is agile enough to create his own chances at times, but mostly his chances are created with his strength and aggression and pace. A nice little dink header there, and he definitely has that in his locker. If he needs to just score a random goal at any time, he has that. He definitely has that. Like, he scored me a few really weird ones, which I didn't include in the clips because there was a lot of lag in one of them where he just shot it. Like his back was towards the goal outside the box, and he just turned his back and volleyed it in a really weird way, and it went into the top corner and went bar down. But it was really laggy, so I didn't show it. And as you're gonna see right here, he scored an incredible goal. Like, look at the build-up play in this goal. Great, beautiful pass over the top from Battaglia, headed in from Gelson, and then a great volley finish from Soares, and that was one of the best goals I've scored in this game so far. I love goals like that. Like, I definitely prefer scoring nice build-up goals over crazy long shots or skill goals. I just love utilizing the passing and just picking my defenders apart, or my opponent's defenders apart. A nice little turn there, and great finish from Soares. Honestly, for the price, like that is honestly how I judge players. If I pay 1,000 coins for a card, I'm going to be a lot less critical on it than if I pay 100,000 coins for it. And for the price that I paid for this team, I think I paid for around like 25-30k for it when I bought it. But at this point, you're not going to have to pay any more than 15,000 coins. So when considering that, you really cannot fault this team whatsoever. It is for sure one of the most overpowered cheap teams you can buy in this game, and I would definitely recommend picking it up because you definitely have the coins for it. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.